Hello YouTube. Today I'm cutting down some downed trees from a winter storm we had just a week or so back. For this job I bought a new little Craftsman 16-inch 42cc chainsaw. I just made my initial cuts with it on a tree that was down in my backyard, and it seems to be a pretty decent little chainsaw. I did buy this with my own money. This ain't like a sponsored video or anything. This thing's no Husqvarna, but if you just need some small trees and light-duty chainsaw work, this seems to do a pretty good job. The only thing I noticed about it in my initial cuts I didn't like is, I'll show you a closer shot, this off switch, the on-off switch, is right next to where your thumb is, and so you got to be careful that you don't just bump it in the middle of a cut and shut your chainsaw off. And some basic things to remember when you're cutting with a chainsaw. Try to wear some eye protection, some good leather gloves, and when cutting, like with all saws, keep your body out of line with the saw. Try to stand off to the left side or over the body of the saw. That way if the chain ever breaks, the saw will take most of the impact. If you've ever seen a cut from a chainsaw that comes apart, it's pretty brutal. I won't put any photos, anything like that. You'll have to Google that yourself if you're into that kind of morbid stuff and you want to look at that, so you got to do your own research. It's also a good idea when starting these to find a flat surface to lay them on. You'll see a lot of people like stand up and crank them. It's not necessarily the safest thing to do. There's that safety switch I was talking about. So if you watch any of my other videos, you'll know this is my hiking trails behind my house, and my main goal isn't necessarily to chop up all these down trees, but more to open up my walking trails. That's where I walk my dogs every day. So as you can see, this section, all I did was cut the branches off of this down tree and it'll allow me and the dogs to get through for continued use of our trails. So by now you may have noticed that all these trees I'm cutting up are these dead spruce trees. They're all pretty sickly looking. And that is from spruce bark beetles. We had a really nasty infestation a few years ago, and it killed all the spruce bark beetle, or all the spruce trees back here in our little neck of the woods. Some of the little saplings survived, so hopefully in another 10 years or so, we'll have some decent spruce trees. But right now, as you can see, like this one behind me, in about one summer, about a summer and a half, all the spruce trees turned brown, and they've, now that it's been a couple years, they're starting to fall over. And so every windstorm, I have to come out and clear my trails so that we can keep using them. It's kind of sad to see, and they're kind of a fire hazard, but there ain't a lot we can do about it. Running along my trail system, I often find these deep imprints. These are moose tracks. And during fresh snow, I often find fox tracks out here too. Some of the wild animals have taken to using my established walking trails as their own personal corridors. So sometimes when we're walking out here, we do have run-ins with moose, rarely a fox. Some of the down trees I don't have to do anything with, like this one lost enough branches as it came down that I can just step over it, and the dogs have no problem jumping over it. There's also a few others where they're just not enough of an inconvenience to warrant cutting up. But you can see from the branches all over, it was quite a windstorm. Knocked out a lot of the power through most of the valley for several days. If you like what you've seen on my channel, please click like and subscribe. Thank you.